Hello my friends, I'm here today to present you with the new books I've bought recently. Most of them are from Eastern Europe or Central Europe or even Russia. So I'm going to start right now just to let you know that few of them are in French and I think 3 or 4 are in English, and I have also bilingual books. So the first one is Jaroslav Hasek with Le brave soldat Chveïk. It's in French. I'm going to show you here on the screen the English version, which was translated the same of actually title, The Good Soldier Svijek. It's a Czech writer. Okay, he's very famous. Apparently this book is very famous too. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. I haven't heard about it a lot, but I know that it's always named for if you want to read Czech literature. They say at the end that if you enjoy The Good Soldier, Svijek, you might like Mikhail Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita, which of course, you know, I love Bulgakov. I'm going to talk to you about Bulgakov later. So yes, I have read The Master and Margarita and loved it. So I definitely now want to read The Good Soldier Svijek. The next book is by Drago Jancar, Cette nuit, je l'ai vu. I'm just going to show you, even though it's like backwards. So it's in French. Drago Jancar was born in 1948 in Maribor in Slovenia. So it's a Slovenian novel. He was actually an opponent to the communist regime, and he went to prison for that. And they said that right now he's considered the main greatest Slovene writer. So I found this book. I found another one, but I wasn't sure. I was like, if I don't like this one, you know, will I regret having bought both books? So I'm gonna start with this one. So I think you can find it in English. It's called And Love Itself. So again, the cover, English cover, and the story of this book. Okay, I'm sorry. After the occupation of Yugoslavia by the German soldiers in 1941, the Slovenian city of Maribor, historically actually a German-speaking town, is annexed to the Third Reich. It is renamed Maribor an der Drau, and the resistance is organized in the surrounding hills. You follow 3 characters, Valentin, a partisan resistance fighter, his girlfriend Sonia, and SS officer Ludwig, once called Ludek. Okay, each try in their own way to defend their love for the senselessness of evil and the downfall of human dignity. Back to Czechoslovakia at one point. Remember Czechoslovakia? Well, now we have a Slovakian book. It's Bratislava 68, Été brûlant in French, by Viliam Klimacek. And it's also available in English. Isn't it perfect? This is a cover. It's called The Hot Summer of 1968. And you follow here, okay, wow, the description is so long. We'll try to follow. Actually, you follow the Cold War. It's 1968. And the Cold War is raging, of course, and the communist, and the Soviet Republic and everything. And I don't know if you knew that, but in the spring of 1968, the Czechoslovakian Communist Party was faced with the Prague Spring, le printemps de Prague, as we say in French. And suddenly there was freedom of the press, an end to arbitrary wiretaps, and citizens regained the rights to travel without prior authorization and visas. The borders opened again to the west. Consumer goods appeared in the stores, so everything was changing. I think a wind of freedom was blowing, and of course it didn't last. But in this novel, you follow 2 characters, Alexander, and you follow 2 characters, Anna and Alexander, and they're born into their Skoda Felicia. It's a brand new car, and they want to join their daughter Petra, who lives in Bratislava. So you follow all these characters, and for a few hours, and with the the Prague Spring didn't last. Of course, the communists couldn't let this freedom going on. So I'm more and more interested in it. I saw it and I didn't think twice. I said, oh, great, a Slovakian and 68. It was enough for me to buy it. And of course, all these books are actually second-hand books, so the prices were really low. That's why I bought so many. So I'm really looking forward to reading it as well. So Bratislava 68, the hot summer of 1968, or in French, Bratislava 68, écrit brûlant by Viliam Klimacek. These are new books actually. I bought them in a library close to my office last week, and I thought they looked pretty good. I haven't found actually the translation for this one. It was written by Evguénia Iaroslavskaïa-Markon. So I'm just going to show you the cover. It's in French, Révoltée. And it's a memoir actually. She was arrested and actually murdered she was executed at the Gulag when she was 29 years old. She used to be a student with many dreams, but she was just fed up with the Communist Party and the dictatorship, and she decided to fight back and to write. I think that's when she was arrested and then executed a few months later. She was married to a poet, Alexander Jaroslavsky, and he was also executed. So it's a very short memoir. I think it was found, she was able to write it in the Gulag. Yes, during her time in the Gulag. So it must be very, hard to read, I don't know. But it must be, she called her own biography, but I'm not, yes. So, and of course, at the end of the book, you have her interview during, a time at the Gulag and what led to her arrestation and then to her execution. So yes, it's going to be interesting, but also very moving. And yes, I wasn't able to find any English translation, unfortunately. I won't be able to say that word. I wasn't able to find English translation, so I'm sorry. I wonder if it's not translated into, because many books are translated into Italian, for instance, or Spanish. Many of them. So if you speak any of those languages, maybe you can find it. I'm not sure. The other book I bought at the library was from Andreï Guelassimov. So it's a contemporary writer. I love this cover. Okay, even if you don't speak English, I think the cover itself is a beautiful cover. The French title is La Soif. It's translated The Thirst. And you follow a young Russian veteran from the Chechnya war. And he had his face maimed during the war. So now he's just, this terrible face. His name is Kostya. And he has come back completely destroyed by the war. And of course his face is destroyed. And what he wants to do is to drink until, he dies. And then he's going to meet former soldiers like him, and they're going to try to find another one of them because they were like this small group in Chechnya, and they're going to go through Russian cities, there are stations, train stations, there are streets, and he's going to actually learn how to see again, to draw, and then to leave. So yes, I really want to read him. It was translated into English. So this is the cover, English cover, but I like the French one better. Oh, yes, sorry. So, okay, so the next books I've ordered are actually in English, so no translation needed. The first one is No Signal Area by Robert Perisic. So he's a Croatian writer, and I love this cover. Actually, I was really intrigued by the cover first before even reading the back cover, but it's a beautiful one. And you follow Oleg and Nikola. They are hustlers, entrepreneurs, ambassadors of capitalism. And they have come to the town of N to build an obsolete turbine, never mind why. So they reopen the old turbine factory, preaching the gospel of self-organization and bringing new life to the depressed post-communist town. But as the project spins out of control, Oleg and Nikola find themselves increasingly entangled with the locals, for whom this return to past prosperity brings bitter reckonings and reunions. Yes, so it's both tragedy and comedy. It's a portrayal of ordinary people wondering where it all went wrong, and if it could have gone any other way. So I heard that he's a very famous writer in Croatia. Actually, Jonathan Franzen says Robert Perisic is alive, bright with intelligence and twinkling with irony, flashing us the news that post-war Croatia not only endures but matters. So we'll see. It's quite a big book actually, but I have a good feeling towards it. So let's keep it that way. Oh, and Miriam Toes, she said that he brilliantly captures the absurdity and chaos of a society in transition. A poetic punk ethos saturates the book, defiant, anarchic, exuberant, and ironic. Perfect for a story about hustlers and workers and dreamers and mercenaries. Wow! So yeah, I was just looking for Central and Eastern European writers, and I'm really glad I found this one. So I think you can find it easily in the US. And this is a big book. I have to show you the cover is backwards, but just to show you, okay, this is it. It's crazy and it's so heavy. It's called Keen by Miljenko Jergovic, and Miljenko Jergovic is actually a Bosnian writer. So yes, and he wrote one of the best collection of short stories I've read that was taking place in Sarajevo during the siege, during the Yugoslavian war in 1994-1995. So yes, it's a beautiful short stories collection. If you can find it, read it. It's during the siege, so the characters and everyone is wondering what's going to happen to them, and just beautiful. And I've always wanted to read his novels, and I haven't. And then I found out that he wrote this huge book in English, actually, in Bosnian, but also in English, because I think he now teaches in the US. I'm not sure. And it's a vast, generous, spirited story of a family across the face of the 20th century in the turbulent Balkans. There is beauty abundantly and ample monstrosity in Jergovic's account, as well as many moments of mystery. A masterwork of modern European letters that should earn the author wide readership outside his homeland. So actually, he's known in France because all his novels and short stories are translated into French for years. So, but I'm not sure if he's known into the English speaking world. And so Richard Flanagan said, this classic of anti-war writing is a warning about the immense human cost of following those who would have us hate others. Okay, so he wrote many novels. Of course, you can find them. I think they were also translated into English. I'm not sure, but if he Sarajevo Malboro is in English, of course, and yes. So yeah, okay. I don't know when I will be able to start this book. Not now, because right now I'm reading another huge book. I just wanted to know. Oh wow, I didn't know that. At the end of the book, you have photographs, pictures, photos of people. Wow, that's. I'm so glad I bought it. I don't know how much does it weigh, but it weighs a lot. And when I said that I really like Mikhail Bulgakov, I was not lying. I love this author. I love this person, and I've been reading now all his works. So I bought 2 books, another one of the vintage Bulgakov. The Heart of a Dog. So yes, it's in English because I've started to read Bulgakov in English, and now I keep doing that almost. I'm going to show you something else. Yes, it's a very short book actually. It's only 128 pages, so a different boisterous display of nonsense. Well, Bulgakov, the master of nonsense. I always enjoy reading him. It's fun, it's so special, so unique. Yes. And I found a new booktube channel maybe 2 weeks ago, and I've been actually binge watching our videos. Her name is Anna, and she lives in New York City, and she was so lucky to be able to spend 2 months in Ukraine this summer, and she made vlogs. Thank you so much. And she actually went to visit Bulgakov's house before he moved to Moscow. He was born in Kiev in Ukraine, and then he moved to Moscow later on. But I was so, at the same time I was so jealous of her, and at the same time I was so happy she was able, you know, to do that and to film it and to show it to us. So thank you so much, Anna. And read Bulgakov if you haven't done that yet, because he's such a master. He is a master, actually. Yes. And maybe you're going to be more interested in Bulgakov after I'm show you this other book of him. And this is a photo of Mikhail, actually. And this edition is bilingual, so you have the Russian title and the French title. The Russian title is Krasnaya Korona, and the French title is La couronne rouge, the red crown in English. I've looked on the internet for an English translation. I couldn't find one until I found actually this collection of short stories by different Russian authors, and he's one of them. And I think the red crown is in it. And so I'm going to show you the book in English. And this one is both in French and Russian. I have studied Russian for 5 years, 6 years, and I can read Russian, which is pretty good, but my vocabulary is just all gone, and I need to practice. And I thought it was great, you know, to being able to read Bulgakov in Russian and to have the translation right away. So yes, great find. I think it's the edition, it's called Magma Long. I didn't know that publisher, but it's a great publisher. So here we go. And I have found since other bilingual books. So these tiny books, I love them. I think the editions are so cute. Let me see the name. It's Folio. Folio is the main, very big publisher in France. But these are the bilingual Folio. So both in French and Russian again. But these are the translated versions, not the word-by-word version. Still, so another one of Mikhail Bulgakov. I'm lucky. Morphine. So in French, in Russian, Morphine. In English, Morphine. So it's easy. So here you have, see, one side French, the other side Russian. So it should be easy to read, actually. I'm so glad I found this, and I couldn't buy only one, okay? I started to think, okay, I'm going to get one, and at the end, I didn't buy all of them, but pretty much 80% of them. Morphine is a story about, I don't know if you knew, but Bulgakov was wounded badly during the war twice. And he was prescribed at the time morphine to heal, and of course, not of course, but he became addicted to morphine for I think 1.5 years. He was able actually to stop his addiction, and so he wrote this short story afterwards. And he writes about, you know, what happens when you get addicted to morphine, how you go into this spiral of, you know, hell, and about when, and if you stop, of course, your drug, of course, you know, you have the effects on the body and the withdrawal. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. So it's a short one, but it's a strong story. The other one is Alexander Pushkin, the black man or the African of Peter the Great. It's a story of a young African prince named Ibrahim Hannibal, who was actually, which is crazy, offered yes, as a gift to Peter the Great by one of the ambassadors of his country. Yes. Ibrahim Hannibal was young and brilliant. He had studied, so he had actually fight into the French army, so he spoke French fluently. He had become famous in Paris before coming back to Russia, and he became what we call the favori of the Tsar. So you read the story of this man who is portrayed there. I'm curious. Here is Fyodor Dostoyevsky's A Little Hero, Miljenko Jergovic. Here you go. I don't know if I can show you that because there was a woman, but it's okay. I don't know the story, but we'll see. I don't know. Dostoyevsky. So I'm reading many books by Dostoyevsky this year. So maybe I'll be reading this one. And you have the Russian, of course, still, on one side. And the last one, it's a bigger one. It's actually the biggest one, by Lev Tolstoy, Le bonheur conjugal, Семья и счастье. It's about the domestic, the life of a marriage, but the bliss of a marriage. Tolstoy gives here an essential reflection upon what it is love, when you have two people loving each other, what is happiness, its fragility, and its perennity. I don't know if perennity is an English word, I'm not sure. I will put the English translation on the screen. Yes, so I'm curious. I've never heard about this book. Yeah, because for me it's a book. It's 300 pages almost. So yeah, it's a book. But it's less because of course you have the Russian on one side and the French on the other side. But still, I'm not going to read that one yet. And the last one is by Osip Mandelstam. It's called Le bruit du temps. So I couldn't find. I'm not sure I found the English translation. I will try. I found some. He was a poet, a Russian poet. So you can find. I'm sure. No, he was born in Warsaw. First in Poland in 1891 in a Jewish family. Then he moved to Russia, to St. Petersburg, and then he moved to La Sorbonne in France. He became friends with Boris Pasternak, who wrote Dr. Zhivago. And when during the burial of Lenin, few years later, because he's more and more suspected, I think, because of the communist regime, he moves to Armenia, and then when he comes back, he decides to write poetry again. In 1933, he's going to write a short poem against Stalin, and he's going to be exiled for 3 years, and unfortunately he's going to be arrested and die in a gulag close to Vladivostok. And they say that his death was never, no one really knows what happened to him on that terrible date. So yes. So they say that here he wrote his biography, his memoir, but they're more like essays. And yes, I'm really looking forward to reading it. So these were the books I've bought recently, and right now I'm reading Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. I'm not really fond of it. I mean, I like the writing and of course the theme and everything, but let's say that it's not like, wow, a great story or a happy story. It's pretty dark. So I hope to talk to you about this book later on. And in the meantime, take care. Bye.